this. We'll do some emailing back and forth, and we'll see where we get to. But I'd like to shift and move towards that kind of application. Also, at some point, but I think that could be a source for messaging too. But one step at a time. More it's the resources and being able to evaluate a property online, just to make it easier instead of the Excel sheet, which is fine, but it can become cumbersome, and on a site you can make it a lot cleaner to look at. So, and I'm wondering with the site, like I'll do all the math, Jason, on it, but I'm wondering if we could probably step at a time, but we could probably make it so I know I could do it in Excel. It could give you more than one option. So if you don't have a 6% cap rate, sorry, a 10% cap rate, it'll tell you what you need to do to make it work, even though you don't have this of the 10. I think that would be kind of cool. And there's another application that I'm thinking of that I'll share with you guys later, but it'll be a big deal for, for finding properties. I don't want to share that right now because it's still early. But anyways, we'll look on that. Okay. Anybody have any questions to open up the meeting? Anything anybody wants to talk about? Pretty open tonight. Don't have anything to share with you in the way of deals. So if there's questions or an area you want to review, something you want to talk about, I'm good with that. You've all went quiet. All right. Okay. Tell me what you guys want to talk about. Is there an area that you wanna go deeper into? I don't know. Whatever you guys want. I'm open. Not all at once, though, please. Getting a deal? Well, okay. All right. Really, I think that it's important to put a lot of options out there for you. So not just you getting deals or looking for deals, but deals coming to you based on relationships or marketing. You can definitely, actually, Dave's had some great success marketing for lease options. I think we get access to something like RCC, not sure what it is. Marketing on the way from Vistaprint, can't wait. Oh, good. I don't know, Dave, what did have one available right now, 3-bedroom duplex. That's awesome. So Dave, do you want to maybe share a little bit of how you're marketing, because you seem to be having some success from people coming to you? Or anybody else, anybody that's, use some sort of marketing, low cost, high yield. Where do you see mortgage prime rates going? We are currently in a 5-year term, 30-year more variable at prime -1, but curious on how quickly you think may exceed fixed mortgages. Okay, we'll come back to that one. Just give me 1 sec. Let's see what Dave's here. Well, so far I've done 2. One was off Kijiji, and the other one was a past tenant looking for another place to rent. And we talked about rent to own, and we made it happen for them. That's awesome, Dave. That's awesome. So, obviously, Kijiji is an option for that type of marketing. Concerning interest rates, I think that Canadian real estate, and this is just my opinion, of course, but Canadian real estate is softening. I think that the things that the government has done to cool the market has created some real slowdown. Also, the minimum wage increase has really impacted a lot of businesses and people. I think that's going to create, unfortunately, a reverse effect of what they wanted. And I think that's going to create less money circulating around than more, in the sense that, well, it's going to be there, but it's going to cause some inflation. So concerning interest rates, I don't imagine that they'll increase interest rates too quickly. I think they'll be quite scared or worried or concerned for doing that, because it could create a accelerated drop in pricing. More recently, I think I was Toronto, seeing drops in prices in the GTA area. Vancouver, although recovered from the big drop it took, somewhat. I think all the markets across Canada are getting soft. I think there might be some opportunity or shifting to middle provinces and out east as an opportunity for investors. And I'm talking more about the novice investor more than anything, because they're price sensitive, where we don't really care about the prices for the cash flow. For us, I think that these dropping markets create new opportunity because they create a new problem. And if we could solve that, there's profit there. So concerning interest rates, my personal opinion is I personally don't like variable rates. I'd rather fix for a 5-year term. That's me, though. I mean, if you're happy with that, that sounds pretty good to me, though. A 5-year term, 30-year amortization, prime -1 is pretty good as a rate. I think that obviously, this, you got to monitor that to ensure that, if there's a move that you lock that in. I'm sure you're aware of that, and I think that for me, I like to help. I like to know what I'm going to pay over time, and I'm willing to pay a little bit more. I think that's my view. Okay, need help advice for rent to own, Dave, if you don't mind. Sure, I have done the course, so I can try to help as much as I can. Taking the course in December, good. The course really helps you. Are you going to enjoy it? You are going to enjoy it, good. Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks. Okay. Looks like we've covered everything. So finding property, I mean, it's that first one's the hump, right? To get past that first deal, I think that, if you work with a realtor and they know you can do rent to owns, they'll send you people that they think can fit. Mortgage brokers too. Out west, Quebec, or farther down. East, sorry. Are you guys talking about the lease option? You guys are having your own conversation. That's funny. That's okay. Keep. Yes, yeah, it is. It's it's softened up, but it's bouncing back. It's soft still, but it's definitely off its bottoms. I think that also there's some real belief that oil is going to continue to rise, and we should see a bump in Alberta for property. I don't know how long that's going to get there. And then it says that are the Calgary for lease options. Why do you say that, Sierra? Just curious. Wilbert, why do you say that? Do you mean the tenants or the properties? Tenant buyers, you mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're more conservative there in Edmonton for sure. Um, yeah, there's I think there's opportunity in the province. Period. Edmonton, Calgary. Um, I think you're right about Edmonton having a good mix. And I find that Edmonton is more conservative than Calgary. Uh, there's more diversity in industry in Edmonton. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's more busts and booms in Calgary than there is in Edmonton. Calgary, at the same time, people from Calgary are entrepreneurs, are biggest in, I mean, and most in Canada. My feeling is, at least, they're the most um, capitalist in the best sense of the word in Canada, I think. So marketing for these types of property would be people can make a great tenant buyer. You know how to maintain, fix things. Oh, gotcha. So marketing these, obviously, we can use Kijiji. We can use uh, Facebook. We can use Craigslist. There's a few different ones that are used for free. Now those sites have really, started to cash in on marketing, the cost of marketing. So when you post something to get that, to get it published early, there's usually a cost, at least for time periods. That's a possibility. Um, I'll tell you what I'm working on. Okay, that I'd like to see at this site. Maybe this will help a little bit. So the idea is, and it's not a new idea really, but the idea is that when you're driving around and you come across a property that you think is an opportunity, say, that you can pull out your cell phone, take a picture, and it'll pick up the information about the property. The dilemma that we have in Canada, there's more to it than that, but the dilemma we have in Canada is that the privacy laws, right, in Canada. But there's a few more things that you're going to be able to do. I should wait. But it's going to be pretty cool. This thing is going to be pretty cool, and it's going to help us do some initial marketing without spending the energy on it. But when it's closer to getting done, I'll let you know. But for now, I recognize that the need for some resources or tools to help us do that. Yeah. So we'll work on that as soon as that gets closer to fruition. I'll let you know. But it's going to be, I think it's going to help in marketing, or at least finding opportunities easier, because I think that one of the areas, there's opportunities all around us every day, and sometimes it's hard to track, or the effort feels like it's too much sometimes. So to make it easier might help expand our available opportunities. The other thing is, I think that what we can do is, in addition to the site, and hopefully we can work with Payson, and I can work with Payson to get that up. Payson, just a quick question. I don't want to put you on the spot. What kind of time frame do you think it would be to put just the resources that we already have on there? Mainly the ability to basically import the Excel sheet in a format that's clean, that people could use to evaluate property. How tough would that be? And it'd be password only access. Doesn't have to look pretty on the outside. I mean, we could just put whatever we want on it. But I don't want to put you on the spot. But what do you think in time frame? Yeah, I use Dropbox. We could use Dropbox for resource. Jason, you still with us? Okay, maybe we lost him. Okay, the other thing I was thinking about for the site is to create. No, paste it. The other thing I was thinking about. The other thing I was thinking about adding to this site, which I think would be very cool that we could all use, is a web page that's attached to it, like a landing page for bird dogs, where we could start, letting people know that if they want to be a bird dog, they can also go to the site and enter the information there. And instead of, and obviously we have to make sure that it went to the right person, whoever you could use your name to, make sure those leads go to you. But maybe a site that everyone can access for bird dogging. And it would be able to, if you drove by a house, if your bird dog saw a house, he could take, or she could take a picture of it and send it to you through the site, and it would go right to you as a bird dog lead. Jason, you there? No? Let's lost it. Oh yeah, okay. Am I expecting too much? Am I being crazy here? I don't want to throw a lot of pressure on you. I don't. And this is why I asked. Yeah. This is why I asked. I don't want anybody to worry or struggle with it. If somebody in this group knows how to do that, and that's something they do, I want to get something up for us as soon as possible. But that being said, I want it to be good. At least do what we're asking it to do more than anything. So if it takes us 30 days or 60 days, I'm okay with that. I honestly don't know. And it's been on my mind for a while. I haven't had the time to construct some stuff, and now I'm having some time to focus on it now. So I'm kind of excited about possibly doing that to help us start marketing and accessing information. Investors who are looking to buy or wholesale. Yeah, I mean that's there, but I want a separate one. No, I don't want you to do that. I'm paying for it. Nobody's gonna pay anything. I'm paying for it. No, I appreciate that. No, I'm paying for that. For sure. Oh, are you kidding me? It's my pleasure. I'd be happy to do that. I want that to happen, so I'm more than happy to cover all of it. So, yeah, for sure, of course. I have to do that. I have to is maybe not the best word, but I am obligated to your success, and I feel that way, and anything that I can do, I'm going to do. So, yeah, I'm paying for that. Absolutely. So, Payson, and I let you know, and we can get deeper into it later, but I obviously want to make sure you're compensated for your work if this project is something that you want to do and you can do. So, I'm excited about it. I'm totally, committed to making this happen before the end of the year. I'm not scheduled to be there, but I might drop by, Mike, for the symposium you're talking about. I might be there. I'm not 100% yet, but I might just drop by anyways. I'm also coming out west in September, I think, too. I'm not sure, but when I do, I'll let you guys know, and then we can get together. And I think I'm hitting Edmonton and Calgary. I'm not sure exactly when, but I'll let everybody know. Yeah, I want to hook up with you guys for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And that's just out there, obviously, guys. When I'm in Vancouver, I'll let you know. When I'm going to your city, I want to see you guys. Yeah. Well, I don't want you to drive to the area, but I mean, I'd love to see you guys and check up on everybody. And when I'm in the area, I'll let you know for sure. I think I'm going to Calgary. I'm not 100% sure, But when I get the time frames and stuff, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think that the getting that up, I think, is a goal for us this year. To get that site up and get some more resources. Not marketing per se, but more the things that we can use, like evaluating a property, or I like the bird dog idea a lot, a lot. So I think bird dogging is underutilized for leads, and and it would be cool to even at in some way, it'd be cool that we could send that link or some part of it where they could we could send the link um, to a prospective seller and say, I'm really interested in your property. Can you fill out this information for me to help me evaluate your opportunity? And we're sending it to realtors or sellers or sellers where they're filling in that information, and we're telling them what we need. And I think that would be cool to let them access it as a passive person, right? They're not, it's not their tool, it's our tool. But just simply letting them know, that this is, can you check this? I'll send you a link. Can you throw in your information about your property in here? And then we could list, whatever's on that Excel sheet where they could use that to evaluate properties for us. It'd be great for realtors too, I think, if realtors could utilize it as a, these are the kind of opportunities I'm looking for. I think something like that would engage the sellers and the realtors would be kind of cool. Again, step at a time, but I don't think that stuff's too far away from getting done, and I'm committed to getting it done this year. So, whatever we can work out. And I don't want to, again, four pages. I don't want to drop this all on you. Obviously, what you can't do, and what you can't, it's cool. I want it up as soon as possible. Yeah, we'll talk. If it's not, if it's a project that's going to interrupt you in a way that's not making sense based on the compensation that we can work out, I'm totally cool with that. And I want you to be compensated. So don't even worry about it. We'll talk. If it makes sense for you, my friend, do it. If not, then it's okay. We'll find some people to do it. I want it up for the year. By the end of the year, for sure, would be the best thing. Is there anything else you guys think of that we could use in that sense, or does it have to be that sense, but we could use to help you? What do you think you need to help you be successful? No, I haven't seen that. Anybody see that? No, sorry, Dave. Sorry. Anybody see that property? I didn't know she put it up on Facebook. Just over 1 million. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about. Check Facebook. It's empty. It's all about income. If it's empty, it was 1.2 million. Now it's a 10-unit. Was it just renovated, Dave? Is that why it's empty? Well, $1 million for a 10-unit. You're looking at. They did some renos. I talked to Marina. Oh, okay. I mean, it's gotta have. What are you talking? You're talking. Let's see. We'd have to make 100K net. Just in general, that 10 cap rate. We'd have to make 100K a year. which would be what, you know, of 8,000 a month. 140 per unit. That's excellent. That's all in too. That's excellent. 140 units, great. What did she list on there? What is she looking for? Financing? Partners? What is she looking for? A junior. All right. And where was it? Where's it located? Winnipeg. Winnipeg. Okay. Owner motivated. I mean, you can have more than one JV partner. I mean, it can be a series of people. On that property, you're probably looking at 100K raised. Did you say how much you needed to raise? Well, yeah, for sure. It sounds familiar. That deal sounds familiar to me. How long has that been up, Dave? Or Sierra? You guys know? Think when I finance you, it's for if it's empty. Well, yeah, no income. I mean, you'd have to have a huge chunk of money to let them post it July 20th. That's so pretty early. Being empty is a problem. Yeah, I mean it's got no income. So the bank would look at you. They would want you to have some sort of income or assets to be able to cover income. Really, it is to cover the mortgage payment. So if you're not getting any income from this property, they'll finance it, but they'd finance it like you're buying a house. They'd look at your job and see if you make enough money to pay for it. So if you're financing a building, they need to know somehow you're paying that mortgage as it it's empty. So it would probably be 10 times units would take time to fill for sure. I think if I was approaching this deal, I would do a lease option with the seller. That's what I would do. I'd do a lease option with the seller, fill it up, and then finance it. That way, when it's full, it'll be easy to finance, or easier, I should say, to finance. But Dave's right. In an empty unit, you're gonna have some serious problems. Yeah, if she can get the seller to do a 1-year lease option with the 1-year lease option and no lease option. So she do a lease option with the seller, which could turn when she purchases, she could do a VTB. But you can do a lease option with the seller, basically, saying to the seller, look, I want your property, let's do a rent to own, and I'll fill the place. And what will happen is the lease option with the seller would be for $1, say, and it would be a 1-year lease option. And what the seller is doing is basically giving you the opportunity to fill it so you can finance it a year from now at an agreed price now. And what can be done is the buyer can say, okay, so what's going to happen is, as income comes, all income will go to expenses until there's a surplus. Then I'll take money for the year. So let's say that you write the contract. You say, look, I have a lease option for 1 year. All income produced by the tenants as we fill up this space will go to expenses. So I don't owe you anything. I'm not going to pay any expenses, but I'm going to put my, basically sweat in getting the property up and running profitably. Then, as money comes in over the 12-month period, when it exceeds the expenses of the property, that money would go to, say, Marina in this case. That would go to her, but until then, she wouldn't be obligated to pay him anything, to have the lease option. So it's convincing the seller that it makes sense for them to do a lease option with you because you're going to do all the work to basically manage it properly and get it filled. Once it's filled, then you have income stream. Then you can go to the bank and you have legitimate, on its own legs to get a loan for it. Does that make sense? And I'm telling you, you can do anything with people that are willing to work with you. So it's a legitimate option to solve the problem for the seller. And what you can do is you can incentivize the seller for waiting the year by paying him more money, if the numbers make sense. So instead of $1 million, you do $1 million, 100,000. Yeah, if he's motivated and he can wait the year, I mean, and I don't know what's stopping him from doing all this stuff. I don't know. But this is why it's so important to find out the problem for the seller. The seller needs money immediately, that you have to construct a deal around that. If the seller has no time to deal with the property, then this is a good fit, right? This is an opportunity where, you can deal with the property itself, and them not having to deal with the property is important. And they're, and they can hedge the risk by saying, look, if you don't fill, like quotas, right? If you don't fill the property, by so many, by 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, then I think one of the hard things is selling. The seller wants $25K for a deposit. He wants $25K for a deposit. Is that what you're saying? That's not. Well, I mean, this is a little bit different. But if anybody says to you they want 25,000 or 50,000 for deposit, you just say to them, look, I'll give you $1,000 now, and I'll give you 24,000 when we waive all the conditions. But I can't give you 25,000 deposit because I put offers on many properties. But I'll give you I'm more than happy to give you that money. But I'm not going to seize that money while I'm doing due diligence. So here's $1,000. We'll put right on the contract, when all conditions are waived, I'll put the other $24,000 or whatever amount they're asking for. And then obviously you're okay with giving them the money because why? Because you're buying it anyways. And the other thing to consider, and I'm telling you this to protect you in a deal, is if you have a corporation that's buying a property, the contract of the corporation in the corporation's name, and there's nothing in that corporation at all, you could break break the offer to purchase if written properly. I mean, the setup with corporations properly, and all they can sue is the corporation itself. So there's more than one out typically. On a bad deal, if it's a bad deal. If it's a good deal, obviously we don't want that to happen. But if the corporation, because you got to remember the corporation is an individual. The corporation itself would be sued or could be sued, and you'd lose the deposit, right? The deposit obviously would not be refundable. But if you put $1,000 up on a deal and for whatever reason conditions have been waived, there's still an opportunity. And you obviously, again, right? Caveat: consult with a lawyer, right? You could still walk away from the deal, and all they could do is pursue the corporation, which really was just created for the purchase of the property. Obviously, if you have other assets in there, they can go after them. But if you have nothing in there, it's a shell, just offer to purchase on a shell corp. you still have it out even after all the conditions have been met. Yeah, but you don't have to get the loan under the corporation, in that the corporation, and I understand. I mean, you're you're the one holding the mortgage for financing, but the ownership of the property under the corporation. So I don't know, Mike, if the person maybe you're working with doesn't work with corporations all that much, and I don't know the person, so please, I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about the person, but and if you like this guy, Mike, keep working with him. But you might want to consider somebody who's in addition to your team, including this individual, that's maybe more creative. Mike, I don't believe that. I think that's his experience. The reason is, Mike, I mean, corporate Canada is massive, and the major five banks do tons of business with them. So I'm not sure. I think, and I could be wrong, Mike, and I don't want to knock the guy. But I don't know how much experience he has in those areas. Maybe I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't want to knock the guy. I really believe in seeking professional advice. And I think that I love that you're working with this guy, and it sounds like somebody that's working with you, right? For your interest. I think that there's always options out there if there's money to be made, and I can't see. Does he tell you, Mike, why? Because saying that it's hard to get financing for a corporation is not the same thing as explaining why. And when people say to you it's hard, and this is to everybody, when people say, well, it's hard to do that, that's not really an answer. That's too general. What do you mean it's hard? What is hard about it? What do we need to provide to make it work? So let's talk about a successful one. Have you ever worked with a successful, deal where the corporation was financed? Let's look at that deal and see how that deal worked. But typically, when you hear somebody say general terms like it's hard or difficult, and that's the end of the conversation, it might be related more to, or could be related to, the lack of experience that individual has in that area. And again, this is not, it's good to do that, Mike. Interview other people. It's not to knock this guy at all. It's just, I mean, when there's money to be made, not many of the banks, don't want to be participating. So, and considering all the changes that have happened, banks are really aggressively looking for opportunities to get money out there. So I'm going to anticipate that the banks are going to loosen up maybe on their lending or get creative with their lending, because that last stipulation mandated by the federal government about stress testing people for mortgages with the banks, I think that created a big dent for the banks, because they can't get as many loans out. Scotiabank has treated me okay. Yeah, talk to them. Oh, sorry, that's Dave. Sorry. Yeah, just talk to some other people. No biggie. Yes, he got me a list of banks who do not finance at all, and then he told me it is their terms and conditions. I'll see if he can find, if I need to fire him. I don't want you to fire him. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what? We can always, I guess, come up with reasons things can't work or don't work. But at the end of the day, there's activity out there, and people are doing business, and I think it's really who we surround ourselves with. Could it be an issue if the seller took 4 years ago a mortgage on a property of $240K and they have a house listed for $169? Could it be an issue if a seller took it 4 years ago a mortgage on the property for $240 and they have the house listed for $169, and they owe more than $169? Is that what you mean, Anna? Weird. The agent listed the property at this price. I mean, obviously markets change, markets move, and we don't know if the mortgage was over and above the value of the house, right? So Anna, the thing is there a difference between these two prices after close? Because if there is, they have to produce that money. They have to produce the difference, or they're going to be asked to produce the difference. So if they have a mortgage for 240, and they sell the house for 169, the bank or the first position lender is going to want their money. And most, or I shouldn't say, just many. Let's just leave it at many. It's almost, you're going to get a payment on demand when the sale is completed. So on demand on sale, right? That the loan has to be fulfilled when the property's purchased. So I would just reach out and say, look, how did you find out they had a mortgage for 240? Yeah, they can port a mortgage. Your agent looked it up. Yeah, they can port a mortgage. They can move that mortgage to another property, which is, the property itself, and that would have to be worked out with the bank. They'd have to work an arrangement with the bank, but I think the bigger thing, two things I would want to do here. Well, one is simply finding out what the real value of the property is. What's the real value of the property, Anna? Because all that other stuff, it's around 240. And the house is listed for 169. And your agent told you it's worth 240? They're newer construction, selling average for 270. Anna, did your realtor, is this a pocket listing? Is this listed on MLS? So, and if this is true, and this realtor is telling you it's worth 240, I would put an offer to purchase on it right away. With the, clauses in there, obviously. Oh, you did? Good. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Just put an offer to purchase on it right away. What's the issue? The seller agent does not come back with answer. How long did you open it for? She not talk to the agent? First offer, they counter-offered. When we counter-offered again. Anna, I would tell you, in a situation like this, Anna, if this is true, I would give them the list price. Get control of the property, and then if after due diligence, if it doesn't meet due diligence, then you can reduce the price from there. But at 169, if it's really worth 240, that's $80,000 equity. I would literally put it at list price to get control of it. I don't know where you are with that part of it, but I wouldn't. We waited 5 days for an offer back. I waited 5 days. Oh, yeah, right. Then 3 weeks passed, and she asked for another offer made. We did, and she disappeared again. What are you offering, Anna, on the property, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, I'd give them the list price. What was the last offer they wanted? The counter that they gave. Give them 160. Do it. Put it under contract at 160. Wouldn't even hesitate. For $2,500? Oh, I'd put that under contract and then deal with it after. Obviously, you gotta have the clauses in there and everything, right, to ensure that you're safe and you got an exit if it's not real. But when folks, when you see a price, differential there, and you're getting, your realtor telling you it's really worth this much, get it under contract and then deal with the price negotiation after based on the due diligence. Because the reason is because this on its own, if this house is really 240 and at 169 nothing's wrong with it, then it's worth, then you're getting a massive deal. Now if you walk into the house and it doesn't meet all the, it doesn't meet all the conditions, that's when you come back and negotiate. Okay, yes, there are no questions asked about additional clauses. Oh, okay, so you put all the clauses in and no questions? They didn't ask any questions about the clauses? Initially reduced the price because they listed a pool, and there is no pool. Are you serious? They listed a pool, there's no pool? Where is this property? Has your realtor seen the property? You went to the property already. And is there anything wrong with it that you know of? I know you just walked through it. Oh, Anna, get it under contract. Let's give him the 160. Let's give him the 160. If it doesn't meet, this is, yeah. But folks, if you see a property that similar to this situation, my view is to get it under contract. If it's not what it's supposed to be, you can come back and reduce the cost based on not meeting any conditions. But I think that if or at least initially looks like a deal where you're buying into equity, I would jump on and get control of it just to get it off the market. Because if it's not real, you can get out. And if it is real, then score, right? All right, Anna, keep us posted on it. No worries. If you need anything, let me know, okay? Let me know. All right, we're wrapping up our hours. Anybody have any other questions? Okay, Payson, can you email me? Doesn't have to be tonight, my friend. Tomorrow, the next day, we can have a conversation about the site. Anna, reach out to me if you need anything, and I will let the rest of you know when I'm in your area. We can maybe get together for a get together. Other than that, is there another course today? You were at another course? Oh, good. Marina, how you doing? You're just talking about your Templex. Oh, creative financing, cool. We were just talking earlier about your Templex. Yeah, love to see you in Toronto, yes. So, Marina, you still have that Templex under contract? Do you have it under contract? Not yet. So, Marina, what does this guy need? What's his motivation to do this deal? Do you know? Is it time? Is it money? Is it both? What is it? Oh, so he needs the money. Oh, okay. He needs the full $1 million? I'll tell you, he's gonna have a hard time. He wants more, but he was on the market for a while, and he's so desperate to sell. Well, he's gonna stay desperate because an empty unit, all those units are empty? Oh, Marina. Okay, so I guess, the option I was talking about earlier, you weren't on the call, was a lease option. Do a lease option with him for a year, but he needs the money now. he's gonna have problems selling that. He's gonna have problems selling an empty 10-unit building. So I would probably, I don't know. I mean, you can work on what you're doing right now, obviously, to raise some money for the property, but it's an empty unit, so that's going to be some challenges with financing. Maybe approach him with the idea of getting him the money in a year instead of now, if that is even a possibility. I don't know. But, okay. Why is it a great opportunity? Okay, the rents are not regulated because of the previous tenant. It was the government. So as long as it get it empty, I can set my own rents and register them with the rental board. Okay. If he fills them up, then he has to register the rent, and I lose my control on how they are. That's not completely true, I don't think, but I don't know why there would be a restriction. This is why, yeah, if you had a lease option, and you had control of the property, you could put the rents anything you wanted. Yeah, that's right. I think before, okay. And the market, yeah. Same deal in Ontario. Yeah, that's fine. But there's nobody in there. There's nobody in there. You're not allowed to raise rents. No, Marina, it's not a positive. I'm not clear on understanding what you mean it's a positive. Does he have an agreement with the government of Manitoba or something? Is this supposed to be like subsidized income housing? What is it? He had it for 3 years. There was a program for refugees. Okay. All right. Is he still obligated by that program? Okay, so he's not obligated by that program. Then he can charge whatever he wants. So he can charge whatever he wants. I don't understand. If the place is empty, you can set the rent. Of course, he can set the rent to whatever he wants. I don't know what he's talking about, unless he has some obligation to that property has been reserved, or he has some agreement that he's going to use it for housing and he's gaining some benefit. Okay, but if you're going to fill the property, you're going to take on this property, losing money until when? This is why, Marina, I say get a lease option, structure a lease option where you fill up the place, and in the next 12 months, and all the money that comes in from filling up the place goes to expenses. Anything over and above it goes to you. And at the end of the year, when it's got 10 people in it or sooner, you go finance it at a bank. But he's got to wait a year. And he recognizes that you're putting in you're doing this for nothing, basically, in the way of income. You're going to fill the place. He'll get all the money, as you know, to cover expenses until the time where, say, you fill it up 40%, 4 units, and that covers all the expenses, taxes, maintenance, insurance, all that stuff. He gets all of that. But the 5th to the 10th property, that's your money. And he agrees to that because you're going to do all the work. And at the end of the year, when you have it filled, then financing is you can really do it. It's not a problem. And, Marina, you can offer him, but you got to run the numbers on it. You can offer him, instead of $1 million, you can offer him $1.1 million or $1,050,000. I don't know. You'd have to run the numbers. But you can offer him more money because the place will be worth more filled than it will be empty. So that's an incentive for him to wait the year, right? And that you're taking care of the expenses and you're doing all the legwork. Like, you're doing all the work. Clearly, he doesn't want to do it, or he would have filled it or tried to fill it, which is fine. He doesn't have to. I mean, you know, he doesn't have to do anything, but he clearly is not interested in spending the effort for whatever reason in revitalizing the property with tenants. So this might be a solution that works for him. My only concern is the idea that he needs money for some other project. That's probably the barrier I'd be worried about. Yeah, but you know what? This is a real solution that you're offering him, I think, with the lease option. You'll be taking expenses away, and it's a legitimate plan for success 12 months from now. And Maria, you do this for $1. Like, you put up $1 for the lease option contract. And you commit to no money. Obviously, you got to do this with a lawyer, but you commit to no money, $0. You're obligated financially zero to this guy. But you will give him every dollar from every tenant until the expenses are met, and then over and above, that's your money. I think that's a fair option. That's right. That's right. He might have to wait longer. I'll tell you right now, selling an empty property is not an easy task. Not for market value. Not for market value. No way. No way. Because from day one, that thing's going to cost you money. It's going to be all bills, no income. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Like, it's a legitimate way to do it. You know? It's a legitimate plan that works for both parties. Well, it works for us. For him, I don't know. But, I mean, at least it gives you a chance, Marina, to do something, and you're not taking on massive risk. Like, you don't want a property that has zero income. That's really dangerous. Unless you're flipping it. But you're not. You're looking to hold. Yeah, you're right, Dave. It's not. It's not. Guaranteed it's not. 100% it's not. So as long as it's empty, I'm not paying him anything. It is the deal you offer. You offer him, you say, look, I'm going to fill up the place. I'm going to take care of everything. I'm going to fill up the place. I'm going to screen the tenants. I'm going to put them in. I'm going to take care of the property management. Every dollar that comes in from rent is going to go to the expenses on the property. Okay? Until then, they're yours. I'm not taking them on because I'm not making any money. But as soon as, and you find the break-even point. That might be 4 tenants, 5 tenants, who knows? And you say the 4th tenant, all that money is yours. Everything over and above, that's mine until 12 months comes and I exercise my option to purchase your property for $1 million, whatever. But Dave's right. That property is not worth, it might be market value, or appraised value might be $1 million or even $1.2 million, but empty, that the market's going to say, no way. Why take the risk? I mean, that's massive risk. And Marina, you can't take that risk either. That's too much risk. You need him. He needs to recognize that you're offering him an opportunity to legitimately deal with this situation with him. It's a question of, can he do it? But on your end, I think it's more than fair what you're saying and offering him a solution that works. Yeah, Dave, I would agree. This guy, well, what's it worth empty? It's worth nothing. Really. But I get where you're coming from, Dave. Yeah. So, Marina, have you gotten evidence that the property's appraised at this value as it is? You have evidence of that. It's appraised at 1.16. Empty. Is that empty or filled? Because on the appraisal, it'll have two different numbers. You know, it'll make note that the place is empty, and this is the value is empty, and this is the potential value when it's full. No, there's a different number. You got to see that number if there's two different numbers. You know. Yeah, ask the realtor. Is that filled? It's worth 1.16 or empty? Because that's two different numbers, right? Clearly, there's a cost. That's two different numbers. And the appraiser would have that in the appraisal, 100%. You know, they put that in the appraisal because they have to estimate income. When you're getting into these types of properties, they're all based on income. Now, obviously, there's a value, intrinsic value, they believe. I don't believe in intrinsic value, but they think there's a value of the land and the building empty. But as far as I'm concerned, these things are worth nothing if they don't make you money. So I think that find that out and see how, you know, see what you can figure out or what works for you. But Marina, I'm telling you, you cannot take this property on. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. Any of you can. But I really don't think it's a good idea to take any property on where that's a lot of risk to take on, you know, and there's a lot of unpredictable variables. It takes time to fill a 10-unit building with the proper tenants. So please consult the right people, accountants, lawyers, your realtor, obviously. But make sure that contract has lots of exits in it, like the appropriate exits, because you don't want to be stuck with something like that. Yeah, that would be good too. Yeah, the tax notice would be a good indicator. It's typically going to be less than the value of the property, market value, so it should come in below. That's a good thing too. Last tax assessment. Probably get that pretty easy. You can give them choice to offer purchase is being empty and the other side of the purchase lease option. Yep. Yeah, that's good. Give them more than one option. You know, you can't expect, and maybe he does, I don't know, but you can't expect, somebody to take this property on because it's going to bleed cash for, as long as it takes you to fill it to break even, and we need to know that too, Marina. You need to know what that number is. Is it 4 units? Is it 3.5 units? Is it 6 units? That appraisal, you need to look into that 1.16. That's got to be full. And I don't want to say it has to be, but it sounds like that's a number of full, not empty. Yeah, of course, Maria, you can. Of course. If you overpaid, then it's costing him. Yeah, for sure. This thing's bleeding him money. Bleeding money. We can run numbers live next class. Oh, you mean in the class? I thought you meant on the site. The imaginary site we're making. But yeah, we can do that. Marina, if you send me the numbers, I can do it with the class next Tuesday. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap up. We ran a little bit longer, but that's okay. Any other questions before we close up? Everybody good? If you're good, type in yes or Y. Good. Excellent. All right. You guys all have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday. I posted the 3 last videos up on YouTube, so review them at your leisure.